Hi, welcome to week 6 of the music production program from Coursera.org. Today I'll explain the 5 most important modules on a synthesizer: the oscillator, the filter, the amplifier, the envelope, and then the LFO. The oscillator. The oscillator, also known as a VCO, voltage controlled oscillator. It creates a sound based on a geometric waveform. We have the sine wave, sawtooth wave, triangle wave, and a square wave. Let's go over a couple of important features here on my oscillator. I'm hitting the sine wave, I'm playing a sine wave, I'm looping it, and I can go through and pick different octaves, which is a great feature to figure out what range you want to be in. There's also a tune knob here that goes in steps on a keyboard, up and down. There's a fine tune control if you want to be slightly out of tune. There's a sine mod, and what that does, it seems to add extra harmonics into the sound. There's also on the bottom here a few other features. I'll just go over one or two of them. There's a sub feature that basically adds 1 octave lower than the primary chosen octave. And then there's a noise feature, of course, to add white noise. The next module is the VCF. The VCF is the voltage controlled filter. Let's look at some of the controls on the voltage controlled filter. The first one we're going to look at is the types. We have a high pass, a low pass, a band pass, and a band reject. We also have a slope feature, which toggles between 2 types of pole filters. We have a 12 dB per octave and a 24 dB per octave. We have a cutoff control, which controls the VCF cutoff frequency, and the range is from 0 to 100. Basically 20 Hertz to 20,000 kilohertz. We have a res control, resonance, and that controls the amount of filter resonance, range 0 to 100. We have an envelope, which determines the envelope's cutoff modulation depth, range minus 100 to plus 100. There is also the ADSR, which determines the filter's envelope cutoff behavior after a note is triggered. Now let's move to the voltage controlled amplifier, or VCA. The VCA envelopes that you see here, the ADSR, control the note level from trigger to release. So from the time you touch the trigger to the time you release it, the voltage controlled amplifier is shaping the sound, the tone, through these envelope filters, the ADSR. Move to the LFO module, low frequency oscillator. The soft synth that I'm using is called Element by Waves. It comes with a 4-pack of LFOs. 2 of them are freestanding, 1 and 2, and then you have 3 and 4, which are time synced, and they're basically synced to a BPM, or if you'd like, a note value based on the BPM. The free LFOs have continuous cycle time control, while the synced LFOs are voice triggered and use musical note values based on the host DAW software's BPM to determine the oscillation rate. Now let's look at our LFO's waveform shapes. We have a sine wave, we have a saw down, a saw up, triangle, pulse or square, and then a random, which is a variation of different waves. We have a rates control, And the rate control controls the frequency of the free LFO. Over on the synced LFO, we have a time control. And this controls the rate of the synced LFO, locking into the project's BPM. Again, quarter, third. We have different note values here. Now let's look at the mod matrix. This is basically an assignable routing system for the LFOs. If I choose LFO 1, I can choose what it will be modulating. Pitch, mix, resonance, envelope, whatever I choose, then this modulation control will determine the amount of I will be sending the source to the LFO. Following the mod matrix is an envelope module. This envelope module can be freely assigned to selectable destinations via the mod matrix. And again, it has your standard ADSR envelopes. Wow, 6 weeks really went by fast. I really enjoyed the class. I learned a lot. I've been in this business for 20 years, and I decided to take this class just to find out things that I don't know, and there was a lot of them. But everybody, thank you for your presentations and your criticism on my presentations. I'll take it all to heart. I do want to leave you with this. I've been a sound engineer and producer for 20 years, and if you really want to get into this business, the most important things are to network, socialize with other artists, get to know the community, and number one, listen. Listening is the number one skill of a sound engineer. You have to understand how to listen properly to what you're trying to achieve. Help those artists realize their dreams, and don't be too opinionated. That's the number one thing that people cannot stand. Take care.